Greetings to you all. Bongo Audio Visual once again. Previously, I was speaking about the greatest enemy that you'll have in this journey. And if you haven't watched the video, I prefer and I would recommend that you go back and watch it. But today, I'm going to be speaking about something a bit different. This one involves things that you should expect in the process of uprooting. You know, maybe one thing that you are uprooting is you're uprooting for the purpose, maybe you just left your job or decided to go maybe on semen retention, or maybe you decided to go on nofap, monk mode, or off social media, or you decided to cut down on alcohol. So what is happening is that you actually cutting down something that used to occupy your time, and you're creating more room and space for you to actually find yourself. See, in those journey, things that you are supposed to expect, or things that you can expect, is that you might actually become outcast in a way, might lose out on a lot of your friends. FOMO, people might end up like not even inviting you anymore to most of what they're doing. Used to be all family gathering, brotherhood. Not anymore, bruh. People are you're just gonna miss out on a lot of things, basically. You're gonna be boring, so, but I want to talk about the blessings in that journey, in your being, in being an outcast, or becoming an outcast in that time phrase, or in that timeline, during the time phase in your life. See, when we're looking into the different people that actually went to the different forms of uprooting, let's talk about likes of Nelson Mandela on exile. Talk about maybe Batman going through his trial, superheroes even, so these are the most important times of your life, because you learn to live without the things that you actually loved, pleasure, forms of desires and everything. So you decided to cut that down. Now what that helps you with is that you start replacing these things with a lot of me time. And when you're looking into the likes of Nikola Tesla, they always talk about invention always comes when you're actually spending time by yourself in isolation. And you're looking at most of the geniuses, they spend most of their time by themselves. This is a very much important time of your life, because this is where conviction also starts to take place, because you're losing out. It feels heavy, like losing a lot of friends in the process, losing the sauce, or, no longer on social media. So one thing I can say though is that in all of this process, it is very much necessary, because now you learn to deal with yourself. I came up with a quote that I say, there's no operating hours on hours. You are the business you don't take office hours for. You are the person that you decide when you actually lay in bed, when you wake up, whatever happens next. So you have to take care of yourself. Have to detox all that energy and all that thing that you actually been consuming for so long. Bad forms of food and whatever. Have to replace those times with a bit of exercises. Have to think abundant. But you cannot really replace those when your head is full of traffic. Have to make time with God, because nobody knows the product better than its manufacturer. Quoting from Dr. Miles Monroe. So you have to take time with yourself, because these are the most important times of your life. If you can't deal with the small losses that you have today, by the time you actually build your garden or your kingdom, how are you going to be able to deal with losing a fraction of it if you cannot actually deal with yourself in this uprooting phase? Very, very much important phase in your life. You're gonna thank yourself for actually doing this. You're gonna reflect back and remember the feeling you have today. When you be taking much more, having more than you actually have today, on the day that you started off ground zero, remember this day. How you felt, how it felt losing. And this process of your transformation in the process of your being. Remember this day. Remember this day. It's gonna be tough, it's gonna be hard. But instead of consuming all these contents or whatever, the best thing you can do is hop in the arena and have your own story to tell. It's in these processes and in this phase where people actually start losing their lives. They start shooting themselves and committing all forms of suicide. They have nothing to look forward to because they can't deal with themselves. This is one of the most important phases of your life, guys. Have some form of story to tell. You know how it feels. There's someone out there that can actually that is probably crying for help, but no one else can actually relate except for you. Use these moments to tell your story. Share it. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, I don't know. But it's up to you what you do with your life. It's much more refreshing to actually think in an empty space or in an empty room. Uprooting is a very important phase in your life. Most people's success stories started in this phase, when they started losing. You have to lose. You have to lose. One day you're gonna have a kingdom. And you're gonna lose a lot of support. You're gonna lose a lot of things. The thing that you're complaining about, the thing that you're losing right now, it's nothing compared to what you're actually gonna lose. Because the more you have, the more you lose. I mean, like, if you have 1 rand, you lose 50 cents or 20 cents. I know in terms of percentage it's a lot, but when you're having 1,000,000 rand, you can lose about 500,000 to 200,000. That's a lot. When you're looking into the units, it's a lot. How are you going to deal with actually having losses now? If you can't deal with this phase in your life, take the story and own it. Take this moment like you promised it to yourself, because it's a very, very, very important phase in your life. This is the stage where people lose their lives. Take care of yourself. You are the business you don't take office hours for. And that is all I have for today. Tune into the next episode. And to Uprooting, may you guys multiply. Thanks.